Thronefall is a minimalistic base building and tower defense game that is in early access right now, and it is early. It came out a day ago, and it's going to be in early access for about 6 to 12 months. How does it work? Well, you start with a keep and a little gold so you can buy a barracks for melee units, or an archery for archers. And those aren't mutually exclusive. You can build both of those if you have enough gold. You have defensive buildings like towers, which will shoot at enemies, walls, barricades to slow enemies down, and you have economy buildings, so houses, mines, mills. There might be some more. Those are the three that I remember right now. All of which, those economy buildings, will earn you gold if you survive through one of the waves. And most of the time, these economy buildings are upgradable. Every building is upgradable so that you can go from, say, a wooden wall to a stone wall, which is going to obviously provide you more protection. Your main keep is upgradable, and it's necessary to upgrade that if you want to unlock more buildings in different places, because you're not going to see all of the buildings that you can build right away. You have to upgrade the main keep. And it unlocks the ability to level up various different buildings like I just described. There are 12 waves, and you can decide when you start the wave by advancing time to night. You can take as much time as you want trying to plan things out. What do you want to build? Where do you want to place things? That kind of stuff, which is nice. You will probably not end up with enough gold, even by the 12th wave, to upgrade everything on every map, which is why you have to pick and choose. Do you want walls or knights? Barricades or a mine? There's a little light strategy here. It's not too stressful. You're not doing intense mental calculus trying to figure out what to do, but there is a little strategy to it. The units that you have, whether they're melee or archers, they generally seem to figure out where to go, although sometimes they go off in a different direction than where I'd like them to. For instance, I had a bunch of units lined up next to a wall that I wanted them to defend, but there was another pathway kind of up on a cliff, kind of close by, and some enemies were coming down that way, and a bunch of those units by the wall decided to go over towards the cliff and go up the cliff path in order to attack those enemies, which is not where I wanted them to go, because then that took away defenses from the wall. But generally, they seem smart enough to figure out where they're supposed to go. And the enemies that they attack seem to be proximity-based. You can actually take control of them directly, as long as you're close enough to them. There's like a little circular area. You just press a button. I think it's the control key on the keyboard. You press and hold that button, get the units that you want selected, and then you can bring them with you and place them where you want, which is nice. And thankfully, if units die, as long as whatever building they spawned out of still stands, they will respawn slowly even during the wave. Then, at the end of each wave, all of your units and buildings will come back. You don't have to rebuild things. You don't have to worry about, oh, I just spent all of this gold building up multiple walls, they got destroyed, and now, before this next wave, I have to spend more gold to rebuild the same thing. No, you don't have to worry about that. It all comes back. And there's a lot of different enemy types here, too. There's flying, there's armored and slow enemies, there's fast enemies with low health, there's exploding enemies, there's siege units. There's all kinds of different types of enemies that you have to deal with, and I like that. I like the unit variety. I should also mention that you have some choices to make when you build either a barracks or an archery. You can have just regular bow and arrow archers, or you can have crossbow. For the barracks, you can have knights, which have a lot of armor, but they're kind of slow. You have spearmen, which don't have a lot of armor, but they're really fast and can slow down enemies. And flail units, which attack in like a circular area around them. So you can kind of figure out what kind of units that you want. What I will say is that if you build a barracks and you want the dudes with the flares, the flails, if you want the units with the flails, when you upgrade that barracks later, you'll get more flail units. You can't choose to, oh, this upgrade, I want knights. So it's kind of set, not kind of, it's set in stone once you build the barracks, and you just want flail units. Typically, well, yeah, on every map that I've played so far, you can have multiple barracks and archeries, but not too many. I think there's been 2 of each on the maps that I've played. So you're not going to be able to get all the different types of units. Again, here you have to pick and choose as the little light strategy. Which units do you want? They have pros and cons. Your character that you control has build options as well. There are 2 weapons right now for you, a bow or a spear. Both have a special ability that has a cooldown. The bow comes with a dagger, so you can get close to an enemy and it will do critical damage to them. With the spear, essentially it has burst damage. You do your special ability and your character will stab at enemies really fast, do a lot of damage in a short amount of time, and then go on cooldown. Your attacks are automatic, but you can kind of move around and you'll see a crosshair that's on top of whatever enemy you're currently targeting. You can kind of move around and get your character to target the enemy that you want. It's not too difficult. I'm typically able to attack the exact enemy that I want to attack. It gets harder when you have a big group of enemies, but it's generally pretty good. There is meta progression as well. New weapons for you, and perks, such as arrow towers do more damage, you have more armor, stuff like that. There are also mutators, so you can make the game harder if that's what you want to do. You don't have to choose any of the mutators if you don't want to. That's just for the masochists who are like, I want the game to be harder. That's for you. One suggestion, rebindable keys. You cannot rebind the keys on your keyboard right now. You can use a controller, although I didn't use a controller, I used the keyboard. But you can use a controller if you want to. But please, please, please add rebindable keys. This should be a standard feature in every game that exists. I will die on this hill. Rebindable keys need to be in every game that exists. Okay? Please add rebindable keys. In conclusion, so far so good. I don't have a lot of complaints about the game right now other than the rebindable keys. That would be nice. And I will keep you updated on this one. I'm looking forward to it. They are going to add more weapons, more perks for your character. They're going to add more maps and stuff like that. So I will keep you updated. So expect more videos about Thronefall. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.